What's up guys, and welcome back to Pop Beat Breakdowns. In today's video we are going to be breaking down what I would consider to be a bouncy pop beat with a little bit of that sass drawn in. This beat was influenced by Little Mix when I modeled this beat and made it, so that is the sort of vibe that we're going for with this video today and the type of beat that I'm breaking down. If you are new to this channel, smash that subscribe button right now, as it is the best way to support the channel and to never miss a future Pop Beat Breakdown video when it comes out. With that mandatory out of the way though, let's jump into Logic and let's break down this beat. Okay, so this is the production that we are breaking down today. Let's just give you a little bit of a taste of what to expect from today's breakdown. So as you can see, it implements that sort of bouncy, almost sassy feel that you get in pop music. This was modelled off a Little Mix song. Wasabi was one of the songs, a lot of songs off of that album of theirs, the latest one that they released. This was a song that I originally did for a client, but for some reason it never got finished at the time, so then I ended up finishing it up at a later date and uploading it to my beat store, which is why we're breaking it down today as one of them beats. So basically I'm going to walk you through the production. For those of you who haven't watched this channel before, how this all works is this is always the order that I've added everything in. I like to keep it how it was so you can really see how I've built up this production from the ground up, because I always feel that's the best way to get an understanding of how to actually build a production, because I think that's one of the hardest parts of music production, is actually getting started. Once you get the ball rolling with a beat sometimes, or a production, whether you've even got a vocal already, sometimes it can be really hard to sort of start, you know, gluing them ideas together and building a track. So hopefully by you actually seeing how I've actually built this from the ground up, it may help you with your productions. For today's beat, I actually started through the drums, and this is the analog circuits. This is a Logic preset drum kit, and it's just a very simple drum beat. Now, I originally made this beat before Drum Machine Designer became my favorite or best friend rather, on Logic. So I've stacked a couple of different electric drum kits here. We've got the Deep House drum kit, adding this layer in. A lot more movement in the hi-hats this one, so we want it to bounce. Claps in as well. And we just also modelled that with another layer with the 808 flex. Just playing a sub bass. The reason I wanted to add a sub bass in as well as a kick, because I feel like it was really good to add for like the bounce and the low end. One thing that's really sort of stylistic of this kind of music is you get that sort of sub which sort of jumps out of nowhere, so you're kind of not expecting the track, and it sort of adds to the overall rhythm and dynamic of the track. Because if you had the bass playing consistently, you wouldn't feel it hitting as hard, but if you have it appearing in moments of silence, then that bass really sticks out more. So that's why I've added that sub in from the 808 flex. Again, it's very good to have, so if you ever need some sub, look up 808 Flex from the electric drum kits in the preset library, and I believe it's actually the one right at the top, so isn't that handy? Easy to find. So next, the thing that we've gone on to is this. Some white noise. Just because with tracks like this, when you haven't got a lot going on, you really need to make sure that you're working on the ambient side, the risers, the ascendings, and the white noise as well. Because if I play you this next element, you'll see what I mean when you got all this together. So you've got the drum kits here, and then this 80s sine synth, just playing the chords. So if we're now having that as the premise for our verse, you see the white noise here. If you don't have it with the white noise and you play this, you're like, okay, that's 2 inches going on, whatever. Add the white noise in. You've got to imagine there'll be a vocal playing, but it just adds something extra to keep the production moving forward, because it's very repetitive at the start. So always try and break up the repetition in tracks, because it's the best way to keep a track interesting. So next we go to instrument layer stacking. One of my favourite things to do, and something I highly recommend if you're a beginner, intermediate or expert producer, if you really want that originality in your mixes, and if you say like you use presets, maybe you don't know how to craft your own sort of like sounding synths using oscillators, well, you can very much achieve the same sort of a principle of originality by stacking sounds together to create your own. So we've got this 80s sine synth here, which is the first layer. But I wanted something also persistently playing with it, something more melodic. So it's always following the same thing as well, but it's all stacked together. And then I also laid this in. So stacking these two together, we've got our own unique bass sound. So the bass and the pads are both covered. So we've got basically the premise for the body, the rhythmic side of our chorus. And it's really nice and bouncy. Just how we like it. So this is when we start to add ideas. I can delete this. I don't know why this is still in here because I've got this muted. So let's just get rid of that. Now, next we move on to the guitars that I've added in. And another synth. Plucked nylon guitar. And this is to accompany my 80 synth. Something a little bit more brighter, because again, what I said about development, and if you've got something very repetitive, you want to always add and mix up to it. That's why I added these extra layers in on the chorus, because, you know, I could have just stuck with this, but it doesn't sound the same. Because if I was to take this out of the chorus, or this section here now, and just try and focus on this main part here, you can tell you changed section, but it doesn't really hit. So adding extra layers into the sort of melodic section, changing up the sound, makes the listener think, there's something different here. Keeps the listener engaged. So this is with... all of a sudden the chorus has a lift because there's a new element been added. Nice. So you will see here that I've added this in the swishy down. This is actually just a reverse of one of the rises that you can get if you go... I'll show you what I mean actually. So if you go into your library here and you go to Arrangement FX, these are all basically rises, ascending, and a couple of pretty sustained pads. So you can take one of them and you can bounce it down to audio, reverse it, and you can do the opposite of what it's meant to be. So this was originally a riser, a descending one, and I've flipped it and turned it into a riser. And it just creates that nice little sort of build to the chorus. So if you had it without, you wouldn't really know that this track was building to anything, would you? Like, the chorus is about to come in, but you wouldn't have known it if I hadn't told you. But if we have some sort of rising quality to the track, you think, okay, something's coming now. And boom. It's the little things, but just that's one little element which completely ties the pre-chorus and the chorus together, which shows you don't always have to, be over complicating your productions trying to arrange that sort of effect, because normally it just takes one element to add that to it and you're there. So the next thing that I've added is just some more clicks. I added these later on just to complement the percussive section, and I went on a little bit more of a sort of Ed Sheeran type route at this point, and you'll see what I mean. So this is all recorded in myself. I recorded in this guitar stuff. You can tell from the leak of audio, and it's literally just me playing some scratches on the guitar to add to the percussive side, because I suddenly felt like I want it to be a little bit more acoustic, raw and percussive. And of course, if we actually look into how I've actually decided where these sit in the mix, I've decided to pan them and double them up and pan them left and right, just to create a little bit more space in the mix and a little bit more of a stereo feel to the track, because I feel like everything was quite mono at this point. So again, it's subtle, but it seems to work. Now, the last thing that I added some strings in next, because I feel like I just wanted one more element just to help bring it together. And that's kind of more tying into these ones here. Just add a little bit more low end to the performance. And there's one more thing that I did on the bottom here. I actually don't know what this is, because this is a while ago since I made this. Yes, it's my pad. That's right. Some octaves, just playing with the root note, just to create that last little bit of atmosphere and movement in the track. Boom. And you put it all together, and you've got yourself a bouncy pop type beat, which I'm going to play from the start of the pre-chorus so you can hear it again. And yeah, that's the beat. So yeah guys, that was my breakdown of my little mix. We could call it Ed Sheeran as well, bouncy and almost sassy type pop beat. If you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button as it's the best way to support the channel. And also comment below any other productions you want me to create and then do future breakdown videos of as well. Always appreciate the comments on this YouTube channel. But yeah guys, I'm going to leave the video there for today. So thank you for watching, keep making music, and I'll see you in the next video.